In the new Jump Festa, Oda has given a message to his fan talking about the final saga and that this year, blank versus blank will happen. And there's no way to know what he's talking about, who's fighting who, but let's have some fun. Let's start guessing. So I have 3 things in mind that could happen this year when Oda was talking about this person versus this person. And he also said that he'd call it a free-for-all battle royale. So the first fight that I'm guessing could happen is Shanks versus Blackbeard. And this is a fight that needs to happen some point in this series. Blackbeard is the titled villain, the rumored probably final boss of One Piece, and Shanks is my current #1 strongest character of all time in One Piece. And to keep the story interesting, we need some kind of battle like this. And if Blackbeard does beat Shanks and it becomes like another Ace situation, Luffy's gonna have like a lot more to deal with and a lot more at stake when he goes to fight Blackbeard at the final island or at Marijoa, wherever they end up their final clash. But Shanks versus Blackbeard would be really great. And I'm not necessarily rooting for Blackbeard to win. I really hope that he doesn't, but it'd just be really cool to see them do something, because 2022 was already the year of Shanks with Film Red. But to be honest, that was pretty disappointing of a movie just because we barely saw Shanks do anything. We don't know any of his actual techniques. He used hockey here and there, but nothing really substantial. And with Shanks last year in the manga announcing, I'm going for the One Piece, it makes sense that this year should be big money moves for Shanks. So first fight that I would love to see is Blackbeard versus Shanks. Blackbeard's currently fighting Law, but that's not gonna last just because Law's not at that ability or that level to take on Blackbeard or an Emperor. And especially Blackbeard now having 2 fruits and having 2 years to train with the world's strongest fruit, which was Whitebeard's Quake fruit. It doesn't really seem like Law's gonna make it out in One Piece. He's probably gonna be a prisoner or just escape. That's probably what's gonna happen. But Shanks and Blackbeard definitely need to have a fight, especially in the series before it's over. They need to have a fight. Too many questions. It can't be just Luffy taking out Blackbeard. Blackbeard's got to do something significant and start actually taking out the old remnants of this world, and Shanks is at the forefront. Fight number 2, Luffy versus Shanks. And I'm not really sure how I wanted this to go down. I am partial to Luffy and Shanks fighting on Raftel while they're about to get to the One Piece, like Shanks and Luffy just going at it one more time. But with Kid already being in Elbaf and Luffy and the gang almost going to Elbaf, that is Shanks' territory. It'd be really great just to see like a kind of sparring match or to see how far they have come. Because Shanks is like, it's finally time. When Luffy became named the 5th Emperor after Whole Cake, Shanks was like, oh, Luffy, it's finally time, like, might as well get stuff going. So it means that Shanks is acknowledging him, and now that Luffy is actually an Emperor after Wano, it just makes more sense to see Shanks and Luffy go at it. But to be fair, I think at the end of the series on Raftel, that would be the perfect place for Luffy versus Shanks. But I could see a slight sparring match or a power sizing just to see how far Luffy is away from Shanks and everyone else. But Luffy is literally Emperor level now, which is on par with Shanks. I still don't think he is as strong as Big Mom Kaido because it took him many times to beat one of them. But he's getting very close, and as long as he hones Gear 5, it'd be a great match. But I need to see some Shanks action. Like, Shanks needs to do something substantial. Like, he came in, said, hey, I'm going to be the Pirate King. I'm going to take the One Piece Ben Beckman. Let's go get our shit. So he needs to show out in some way and show the world why he is revered as one of the strongest people in the verse. So in chapter 1072, Garp is now making his move. So Garp is out saying, let's go to Blackbeard. Let's go rescue Kobe. So that means Garp versus Blackbeard. Or so we think. There could be different interpretations of what's going to happen, mainly because Blackbeard's not even on his home base right now. He's fighting Law. We're not sure how many days this battle's going to take or how far Blackbeard is from Law, but Garp could literally just stroll in, take Kobe from the pirate island, and just leave without Blackbeard being there. I've seen some theories that Aokiji is there, and Garp and Aokiji could face off, and that would be really cool to see. And to be honest, Aokiji is very impressive, but I would think I would give the fight to Garp just because Garp is, you know, the hero of the Marines. He has so much hockey and wisdom and all battle experience. He was kind of like toe-to-toe with Roger back in their prime. And Aokiji's very strong, but man doesn't have an arm and a leg. After Akinu messed him up, Aokiji is not really looking so hot. I definitely think it could go either way, but that would be an insane fight to see Aokiji versus Garp, because we haven't seen Garp do anything. This is another character that we haven't seen do anything, even though he has such an insane title. One Piece has a lot of characters that have these amazing titles or these amazing bounties, but we just don't see them fight. So we need to see a Garp fight. Garp versus Aokiji would be insane. A lot of hockey use on both sides. Garp would definitely have his work cut out for him because Aokiji is ice. But to be fair, I'm not even sure if Aokiji would really fight. I don't even think he's part of Blackbeard's crew as like a permanent member. I feel like he's a spy for the government because Aokiji is too stand-up of a guy, unless he is using Blackbeard. Other than that, switching over, Garp actually fights Blackbeard. I don't think Garp would do shit, mainly because if Rayleigh was like, yeah, I can't take on Blackbeard, it's just my name holds this clout, I don't think Garp would be able to take on Blackbeard either, because old age is a thing. These people are getting very old, and that's why Sengoku doesn't fight anymore. All these people are retiring, and Blackbeard's like literally in the prime of his life right now. He's had ample time to practice his new devil fruit. He's also been honing the darkness fruit. We're not sure if he has an awakening, but it's Blackbeard, so probably he has an awakening. Garp doesn't have any devil fruit that we know of. All he does is just punch people really hard with the fist of love, but I don't think he loves Blackbeard like that. But we can definitely assume that Garp has all three hockeys and the advanced forms of that, because he was Gold Roger's like dancing partner back in the day. They were rivals and kind of played cat and mouse with each other. So Garp, I would say, is equal to Roger. I'm not sure if Garp would be able to beat Whitebeard perhaps, but if he's standing toe to toe with Gold Roger, I could see an argument for young Garp to be stronger than Whitebeard. But old age is a thing. I wouldn't give it to Blackbeard, but maybe it'd be cool to see Garp show out a little bit before he gets folded by Blackbeard. And another fight I would love to see, which would be, I feel like, way too premature, but I'm just throwing it out there so in case it actually does happen, I get some credit for this. But Mihawk. Mihawk needs to have a fight. He has not done anything in the series since the war. He actually hasn't even had an opponent that we've seen on screen have any kind of standing with him or even pushing Mihawk a little bit. Mihawk's now part of Buggy's Emperor crew, and now they're going to be doing stuff, so since they're going to be traveling and going for the One Piece probably, it gives Mihawk an opportunity to actually fight. And he doesn't have to fight Zoro, but he can fight someone else. He can fight Big Mom's crew, he can fight Blackbeard's crew, he can fight Shanks's crew, like just crew members, something like that, somewhere for Mihawk to demonstrate who he is and why he's like the world's strongest swordsman. It would be insane if we just skipped to Zoro versus Mihawk this year. It doesn't even have to be like their final fight, but maybe a little scrimmage. You know, we haven't seen them in a little bit. Maybe get some kind of scrimmage going on. But Mihawk definitely needs a fight, and the only things I can think about is Mihawk versus Shanks, because Mihawk versus Shanks has always been part of the lore for One Piece of training partners. We're sparring buddies. Like, that's how it is. We used to spar all the time. We haven't seen Mihawk actually fight Shanks since Shanks lost his arm so many years ago. Like, that was like, what, 10, 15 years ago when he protected Luffy. Because Mihawk says, I don't fight disabled people. You know, I have too much respect for that shit. But Mihawk versus Shanks would actually be really cool. And it'd make a lot of sense because Buggy and Shanks are really good friends or part of the same crew. So if they come into odds where they need road poneglyphs, Buggy's gonna be like, yo, Mihawk, go. And Shanks is right there and he's gonna be like, hey, Mihawk, we haven't fought in a long, long time, but I need this road poneglyph, so you gotta give it to me. And that'd be an actual reason for them to fight. So it would be really cool to see some kind of display of Mihawk, and at the same time we get Shanks fighting. And the way Oda quoted this in Jump Festa was, no way, this person and that person are going to be fighting. And, you know, out of the back of my mind, Mihawk and Shanks come to my mind, and I would actually be floored if those two were fighting. So my other bet and my last bet is Mihawk versus Shanks. It doesn't need to be a fight to the death or anything, but just a little show out of power and them just clashing for a little bit would be fantastic. Honestly, if they went at it, I would put my money on Mihawk because, first of all, he's world's greatest swordsman, so he must be that guy. He also has two arms. I know Shanks is fighting at a disadvantage, but he's been like that for, what, 15 years? But I still think Mihawk is that guy, and when it comes to swordplay, Mihawk's got in the bag, but then if it becomes a brawl, Shanks will take the W because, you know, I don't think Mihawk's much of a bare-knuckle brawler. But these are my 4 fight predictions for this year. And to be fair, in Oda fashion, a lot of his Jump Festa stuff comes into fruition within 2 years. So this might be 2024 where we will see these fights. But let me know what you guys think and what fights would you love to see in 2023, 2024. But thank you guys so much for watching, and please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.